Real quickly before we begin, I want to thank this video's sponsor, CarMarshal.com. CarMarshal.com can save you lots of money on buying used or new vehicles, cars, trucks, school buses. If you want to save money, I'll have a link in the description down below. I know I'm going to...
Watch, woman sues after cops brutally beat her for asking for a tampon. The taxpayers of Broward County, Florida are going to be held accountable for the brutal actions of multiple officers who savagely beat a woman after she asked for a tampon. By Matt Agarist, March 30, 2018. Broward County, FL. A sizable chunk of the Free Thought Project archives is devoted solely to a single department in Florida. The Broward Sheriff's Office is notorious for its rapists, child molesting stalkers, sadistic dog-sicking torturers, woman-battering deputies, cops who hide while children are killed, and the list goes on. Many of these cops are never fired, and, even if they are likely all given paid vacations, first some of them for months, or longer. While the cops are rarely fired or disciplined, the taxpayers are often held to the fire to pay for the brutal and corrupt actions of their police force. The case of Audra West illustrates this perfectly. As we previously reported, Audra West is a hairdresser from Texas who was on vacation in Fort Lauderdale, when she was arrested and assaulted by police. West had a few too many drinks and was arrested for disorderly conduct. During her stay in the Broward Sheriff's Jail in Pompano Beach, she was brutally beaten by Deputy Kristen Connolly. When West asked one of the deputies on staff if she could have a tampon, Deputy Connolly laughed at her and told her no. Frustrated, West cursed under her breath at Connolly, so Connolly stood up, grabbed a pair of rubber gloves and began walking toward her future victim. As she walked over to assault West, Connolly's co-worker attempts to calm her down, but Connolly was apparently out for blood and went around him. She grabbed West by her hair, entirely unprovoked, and began hitting her, and throwing her to the ground. West was then pulled into another room, off camera, and assaulted by multiple guards who joined in on the attack. I was on the floor on my stomach and, Connolly, punched me on this side of the face. And I was being kicked and stepped on from behind, and she was punching me in the face. She punched me in the eye several times, West said. I went into jail with no bruises and I came out covered in bruises. I've got bruises all over my body. My face was swollen. My eye was basically swollen shut. I had bruises and cuts all over me, West said. This entire attack was captured on video. The case garnered widespread attention after the release of the video a year later. After a months-long paid vacation, last year, Connolly was quietly found guilty but received no jail time. Now, West is suing Broward Sheriff Scott Israel and 5 other deputies for excessive force and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Audra is looking to be compensated for the brutality that was perpetrated by the sheriff's office deputies, says her attorney, Gary Collin, who filed the case earlier this month in federal court, according to the Miami New Times. Anytime she thinks about this, which she can't avoid because of what happened to her, she gets sad. She gets depressed. According to the complaint, which lays out the details of West's abuse in the jail, she was arrested wearing only a bathing suit and a skirt. She was then forced to strip naked and given an inmate uniform but no undergarments. West was then brutally beaten after asking for a tampon and was then taken to a nurse before being thrown in a segregation cell. West was placed in an immobilizing restriction suit and given only 2 sanitary pads before she was able to bail out 2 days later. 4 days after she was released, West filed an official complaint with the BSO's Internal Affairs Division. However, according to the lawsuit, deputies didn't complete a use of force report until after the agency lodged an investigation. Despite the agency's failure to follow its own policy, BSO exonerated the officers, according to the Times.
A video has come to light in the US showing police viciously manhandling a woman who's been arrested. Security cameras captured a deputy, also a woman, approach the detainee and punch her several times. The victim's name is Audra West. She tried to resist, but the officer and her colleagues locked her in a room where there were no cameras. Audra claims she was then brutally beaten.
I had bruises all over my body. My face was swollen. My eye was basically swollen shut. It was frightening. It was absolutely frightening.
Another inmate who witnessed the case says there was no reason for violence. West asked the deputy for a sanitary product and cursed her when she refused. The deputy then complained that she had been assaulted, but that wasn't upheld. The attorney said he could not see anywhere that West had presented a physical threat while under arrest. The detainee's lawyer now promises a fight for justice.
Well, she was arrested for a very minor crime and she was taken to the jail. There was no reason to take her into the room or pick her up or grab her like that. But surely after she was taken into the room, there was no reason whatsoever to beat her so severely. We will file suit. We will take these deputies and the police department into federal court, and we will, and I say it confidently, we will obtain the monetary damages for Audra that she deserves for this horrible, horrible event.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I just wanted you to know that I am using this stuff under fair use. And also remember to like and subscribe this channel. Also too, keep in mind I do not make any money on YouTube. This is 5 hours work a day, you know, fighting for freedom. And you can donate with PayPal and Patreon. I just want you to think about this. If everybody gives to PayPal and Patreon, Patreon is every month. Actually, PayPal you can do every month. I have 12,000 subscribers. If everybody gives, I can quit my regular job and go full-time investigations on Charlotte County and possibly even more and beyond. So just keep that in mind. If everybody helps out, I can go full-time doing this. Thanks.